Welcome to HeroPath for Teens, this extraordinary program for helping 21st century youth not just cope with the challenges that they face in this complex, chaotic world, but to emerge thriving, successful, and accomplishing the life that they really want to live. You know, the teenage years have always been a challenging time, and in many ways, today's youth face the same challenges that we faced when we were their age. We add in, of course, the prevalence of social networking and the pervasiveness of technology and the growing concern amongst complacent lifestyle and health concerns. But the biggest concern of all that's facing today's youth is the fact that this universal path that was presented to most of us when we were their age growing up, the one that said just get good grades, go to a good university, get a good job, get married, have kids, and retire, and everything's going to just work out for you, is just not available to these youth anymore. Decade plus of constant bad news about the economy and opportunities growing scarce have left many of today's youth unsure about what direction to be going and what to be doing with their life, and leading to high levels of stress and anxiety and concern, and rightly so, given the radical changes happening in the world. One of the great challenges they face is not knowing whose advice to follow or what direction to turn. See, the first voice that's in their life is the one that belongs to parents and concerned caregivers, the ones who are giving them their early messages in life about what matters and how to be a good person. But we all know that as they become teenagers, they begin listening to many other voices, popular culture, peer culture, and oftentimes getting bad advice from these sources because they just don't know what's the right thing to be doing. And even oftentimes the schools that we send our kids to are still operating out of outdated systems that are just not matched and aligned to meet the needs of this complex world that they live in. And with this loud, screaming second voice in these young people's ears, who do they turn to know what's the right way to go to find their way through life? Well, welcome to HeroPath, a third voice for helping today's youth find clarity and direction and become decisive and to know what to do with their life. HeroPath is based ultimately on the foundational work of Dr. Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell is one of the foremost thinkers in mythology and argued by many as the world's greatest mythologist. Joseph Campbell created, after studying tens of thousands of hours of mythology, this model of what he called the hero's journey. And he says, it seems that the wisdom of our elders is telling us that the journey to becoming human is this hero's journey. And for those who go on this journey, this extraordinary life will emerge from them. One of the things that Campbell said later in his life is he said the two most important questions in life are, number one, where am I going? And number two, who will go with me? And he said, never upset the order of those questions. As long as you go in the right direction in your life, the right people will show up. Well, at HeroPath, what we do is we help teenagers and young adults to answer these two questions, to know where are they going in their life, what's the right direction to go in their life, the right path to be following, and then how to recognize who the right people are and how to build the alliances with the right people who are going to help them on their way in life. My name is Jeff Lyken. I live in San Francisco, California with my wife and my daughter, and I'm the president and CEO of Evolution Mentoring International. I'm not going to go into great detail of my background in this because you can visit my website if you want to learn more about me. But what I do is I specialize in working with smart, sensitive youth and help them to grow into their full potential, to explore their instincts and intuitions and their gifts and their talents and bring them into the world. Along the way, I've come in contact with a number of extraordinary people, and one of these people is a man named Des Barry. Des is my colleague at HeroPath. He lives in London with his family. And originally, Des is from New Zealand. In fact, he grew up on a farm that was in such a rural area. Des did not eat at a restaurant until he was 15 years old. Well, when he was a teenager, working part-time jobs at a farm and at a factory, he had an opportunity from a coworker's family to buy a used motorcycle. He scrapped together the money and bought the motorcycle, thinking it would just be something for fun to get around and go see his friends, not realizing that that purchase of that motorcycle would help him discover something inside of himself that would lead him on this incredible journey of his own, where ultimately, after university, he would leave his engineering firm, take his motorcycle, move to Europe, wind up in the UK, and go on and become British national champion and one of the top 7 racers in the world. And though Des put his bike away over 20 years ago to raise his family and start an engineering practice, he's still a weekend warrior on that bike, and his reputation is still well known in the racing industry. This is Dr. Joseph Riggio. Lives in Princeton, New Jersey with his family. And Joseph Riggio is the founder and the creator of the model that we use in HeroPath and the tools that we use in HeroPath that are so profoundly effective at helping youth to answer these two questions about where am I going and who will go with me. Joseph Riggio has a fascinating life story. It began with being the son of Italian Catholic immigrant family in Newark, New Jersey, and his fascination with the Eastern things like martial arts, where he became a competitive and a highly accomplished martial artist, taking a few dollars after university to start an architecture firm and growing it into a multi-million-dollar business before having this realization that he wanted to do something else as his life. So he sold his business, moved back in with his parents, went and became a dog trainer, and eventually became fascinated with the human mind and what was capable of it, studying the field of neurolinguistics, until eventually this wild, crazy journey he was on led him to meet a retired Israeli commando who had emigrated to the U.S. and was living in somewhat obscurity, training people who were fascinated by what it took to achieve absolute excellence in their life, because they discovered some of the inner secrets of what it took to achieve excellence in one's life. And one of the things that this Israeli commando, his name was Roy Fraser, discovered was that one of the keys to being able to really truly live an extraordinary life of excellence was learning how to be able to have control of oneself from the inside. And so of the many things of psychology and of philosophy that Roy Fraser taught Joe was this incredible skill set to be able to help people to recognize how making just simple adjustments inside them, the direction of their eyes, the way they tilt their head, the way they align their posture, can shift their whole sense of their certainty about who they are, the direction they're going with their life, the confidence, the sense of possibilities. And this is just one of the small pieces that came out of the work that Joe Riggio ultimately put together from his learnings from Roy Fraser. And he created this thing called the Mythogenic Self Process, or the MythoSelf program. And you can learn more about it by visiting that website. But most importantly, why is this relevant to your teenagers? Well, because we use the things that Joseph Riggio learned from Roy Fraser and that we've put together in our own work with teenagers, especially my 25 years of work with teenagers, to offer them the most advanced and sophisticated attention training available in the world. That we teach them these subtle things about what they do in their bodies to allow them to have absolute precision and focus no matter what kind of distractions are going on around them. The second thing that we offer that's so unique in this program is we offer the mythogenic decision-making process based on the work of Joseph Riggio. And this is a decision-making process where instead of using logic and reason or just being overwhelmed by emotion, we're actually teaching young people to do what a recent survey of leading corporate executives around the world revealed they do when they make the most important decisions of their life, which is to be able to attend to the small, subtle signals inside them. So, for example, it's the kind of experience that you might have when you, let's say you walk into a party and somebody approaches you and they look right, they're smiling, they're saying all the right things, but you just have this little sense inside you that something's not right about them and they shouldn't be trusted. We're teaching young people how to notice those subtle signals inside themselves so that as they begin to make decisions, they're doing it using this kind of inherent wisdom that they have that allows them to make these excellent decisions inside. And when you combine these things together, we begin to offer them this different way of thinking about life. So I've already talked about that ordinary world advice that comes from the idea of to follow that universal path, just get a good job, get a good education, which is so scarce. Well, another one of the very common ordinary world pieces of advice that young people are getting now is called find your passion. This is horrible advice to give to young people. It makes them feel like they have to find the one thing they're going to do with their life by the time they're 16 or 17 years old, which very few people ever do. And it puts enormous pressure on them. It's really bad advice. And one of the things that makes it worse is that it's oftentimes backed up by people saying, you know, find your passion, but be practical, have a backup plan, and don't quit your day job. And whether you're looking at some of the entrepreneurs who are just in your neighborhood, nice folk who live nearby, or whether you're looking at the Richard Bransons of the world, most of these people will tell you that that's not how they got their success. What they did was they followed their bliss, which was what Joseph Campbell said. Joseph Campbell didn't say find your passion. He said follow your bliss. And by following your bliss, he meant follow your interests, your curiosities, your fascinations, your instincts, your intuitions. Build your life around your strengths. And what this does is it leads to a direction to be going with your life. And what we do over this program and over the 6-month mentoring program that we offer along with it is we help young people to find where their bliss is and identify the direction to be going with their life, and teach them that by going in that direction, they're going to meet the right people and the right opportunities will show up, because that's how it has always historically been by people who have really followed their own hero's journey and lived their hero path. So when they walk away from this program, what teenagers and young adults get from it is incredible amount of confidence in themselves. Instead of the confusion and uncertainty, they have confidence. They have the confidence to be able to say no matter what the pressures are, or to say yes for that matter, no matter what the challenges are in facing that. They develop the capacity to excel academically and go as far as they're going to go if that's going to be their route in life. They develop incredible resilience to be able to bounce back from challenges, the confidence and the voice to be able to lead, and the credibility to be taken seriously. The courage that it takes to be able to stand away from the crowd if that's the best path in life. They develop the ability to delay gratification. And in this world, it's so hard to find any young people in this entertainment and instant gratification culture who can delay gratification. And it's hard to find adults who can do it. But the young people who go through our program and have the training and the mythogenic self stuff that we teach have the ability to delay gratification, which is going to be so essential for them to be able to get the success they want in their life. They learn how to live with a positive bias, staying positive and sorting for possibilities no matter how difficult circumstances get. They're able to make excellent decisions in their life, and ultimately to have the courage that it takes to be able to act on those decisions and to grow up and become who they really are. But don't just take it from me. You need to hear the stories of some of the hundreds of young people who've gone through the HeroPath program and benefited from the training and mentoring that we offer. This is Aaron. Aaron came to us because a family friend saw potential in him and saw that what he was doing was just kind of waffling in his life and going on a path towards underachieving and just, in a way, mediocrity. And so a family friend made the investment, said, Aaron, I want you to go on this program. Aaron came in so skeptical, so unsure what it was he was getting into. In the testimonial that he wrote when he left the program, he said, I came to this program so skeptical, expecting it to be just like everything else and hearing all the cliche advice that everybody else had given me. Instead, what this program did is opened up my world to me. I now know what the next step is that I need to take in my life and what I need to be doing, and I have the belief in myself and that I can actually go out and I can do it. You need to come to this program. Get over your doubts and your uncertainties. Just come to this program. Well, anybody can write a glowing testimonial like that when they walk away from a weekend and they're pumped up. But let me tell you what Aaron has gone on and done over the next couple of years. He's pursued his fascination with music. In fact, he's gone to school and is getting his certification, his degree and training in music. He's playing his guitar in bands, and he's playing around the UK, and he's really pursuing this absolute fascination that he has with music. And he's living a life that for him feels like the right life to be living. And in the midst of this, though it's not an easy path, he's doing what he needs to do to pay the bills, to be responsible, to cover his expenses, and endlessly putting his free time into this music to see where it's leading him. And most importantly with Aaron, if you meet him now, you don't see a teenage boy who seems kind of uncertain with his life. You meet this young man who has a poise and a presence about him that speaks of somebody who's really on his path in life and is going to get where he intends to go, no matter what the challenges are that he faces. This is Amy. I'm going to read to you actually Amy's testimonial directly from our website. She said, on the 22nd January 2010, I was an ordinary teenage girl from the Midlands, content with the life I was leading. Today, I still am exactly the same person, living in exactly the same place, yet I have a completely different take on life. I walked into the program intrigued. I thought it would be a good experience, but I honestly thought that it had very little to offer me that I didn't already know. 2 days later, I walked out empowered to lead the life that I wanted to lead. Well, that was Amy almost 2 years ago. Go on and follow Amy's story after that. Amy was an excellent student. She now goes to the University of Bristol. But she goes and she writes us an email a few months ago. And in the email, she goes on to say, you know, I always had this joy of playing the game Ultimate Frisbee, but I always held back. I never pushed it to see how good I could be or how far I could go with it. I just didn't have the faith in myself. But applying what I learned at HeroPath, and the gift that HeroPath gave me was to really believe in myself, that I could go all out, and no matter what came with it, failure or success, that I could live with it. Well, Amy was encouraged by a coach to start trying out for higher level teams. And this past year, Amy mustered the courage inside her, following her own hero path, to try out for the British national team, and made the British national team. And this past summer competed representing the UK in an international tournament in Poland as one of the best ultimate frisbee players in the country, following her path in life. This is Amy just 2 years later. If you read her testimonial, she will give absolute credit to HeroPath being the turning point in her life that's led her on this journey that she now knows in her life. No matter what challenges she faces, she will rise above them and live an extraordinary life. HeroPath is a third voice that young people listen to because it comes from people who have credibility because we've lived this stuff. And we're teaching them material that's so different than what they get in school. And it's so absolutely tangible and practical in their life, giving them direction, confidence, clarity, but most importantly, results. In fact, we 100% guarantee results. We 100% guarantee the young people who go through our program will learn things they did not already know, that these things will be of immediate value in their life and will help them grow into the person, the best person that they have the potential to become. 100% guaranteed. In our entire time running this program, no one has ever asked for their money back. Everybody has walked away from this finding that we deliver on what we promise. HeroPath offers several programs a year in Europe, in London, in the UK, in the United States, and this coming year in New Zealand. But the program space is limited, and you need to go to the website to register your teen now. Programs fill up. They only happen several times a year, and if you want your son or daughter to immediately begin to get the benefit of this, to stop waffling in their life, stop getting distracted by that second voice in the world, to find clarity and find direction with 100% guaranteed results, go to heropath.co.uk right now to register your teenage son or daughter or your young adult son or daughter for the next HeroPath program. Thank you for taking your time to hear about HeroPath, and we look forward to meeting your son or daughter in the near future and helping them begin that journey that we've helped so many others begin, the journey that goes from the life they're currently leading to the extraordinary life that's possible. Thank you very much.